You can. I was gonna. Oh, hold on. We're recording. Hi, everyone. I'm Dee May, and this is the 12 Pillars of Self-Love Masterclass. Right now, we just have myself and Jessica. So, Jessica, I'm so grateful that you joined me this morning for this masterclass, and we're going to record it and put it up in the group. If y'all don't know Jessica by now, if you're in the group, you know Jessica, but this is my friend, my best friend, Jessica Kirby, and she's a medium,
Hello.
intuitive, and all of the fun stuff. And she's also like her day job right now, for just a little while longer, is as an LPN. So,
Yep.
yep. So we're gonna
Indeed.
hang out
Yes.
and
Thanks for having me.
oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. We haven't done this in a while, so it's going to be kind of fun. And we're a little different
I
format than
know.
done in the past, but let me pull up my other screen here so I can screen share here in a second. So, okay, so this is going to be the 12 pillars of self-love, and we're just going to go over the 12 pillars of self-love, right? That's what we're going to talk
All
about. So I'm
right.
going to start screen sharing and we'll jump right in here.
All right.
Okay, so the first pillar, oops, hang on a second. See, this is what happens. I'm already in pillar two. Ta-da! All right, here we go. Okay, so we are talking about the 12 pillars of the self-love journey this morning. And we're going to jump right in here to pillar one. Pillar one is really about understanding how you feel about you, because believe it or not, most of us don't even really know how we feel about ourselves because we've never even really thought about it before. So, how you can begin to understand how you feel about yourself is to think about how you look at things. And this could be anything from politics to, whatever. I mean, like there's so many topics in this world to think about. Flowers, how you look at how you look. So think about how you look at yourself. What do you see
Mhm.
when you look in the mirror? What is it that you see about yourself that you like or you don't like? Think about how you look at yourself. Think about what you like. Do you even know what you like? Because this may sound like a really strange question, but I have actually met people and talked to them that have no idea what they even like. What things do you enjoy doing?
Yeah.
This is another thing that sounds like a really basic question, but some people don't know the answer to it. Not
Yeah.
things that you have to do. This isn't what we're talking about. We're not talking about things you have to do. We're talking about things you actually enjoy doing. And what things bring you joy? I mean, the word
Mhm.
joy is something most people don't even allow themselves to put in their vocabulary at all when they're talking. They don't even use this word. But think about what things bring you joy. Do you even know? I mean, and write these things down. Make a list of these and other questions you may think of, because these are really, really important and will help you get to know yourself a little better.
Yeah.
I mean, what comes to mind,
Those are good questions.
yeah, and what comes to mind for me, Jess, is really like when I got divorced, right? When I
Mhm.
got divorced, I had been in this marriage for 20 years and I had no idea who I even was when I left that marriage. I had no idea. I didn't know what I thought about myself. I didn't know how to look at myself. I knew a few things that I liked, but I'd never really had a chance to pursue a lot of those things. One of the things I did do was gardening, flower gardening specifically. And I knew I enjoyed
Yeah.
that, but and getting outdoors and doing anything outdoors. But what did this look like for you when you think about these questions?
They're awesome questions, and I mean, I they really are really good, and because gosh, what do you like? What brings you joy? That kind of reminds me of like job interview questions when they say,
Mhm.
"Well, tell me a little bit about yourself."
Yeah.
And it sometimes, it would trip me up a little bit because I'm like, gosh, you know, what do I like to do? They're really good questions, and it's something you just kind of got to sit with if you've never really thought about it for sit with it for a while, because like I said, you're absolutely right. It is something we don't really think about.
Mhm.
Those are thought provoking. I like those.
Yeah, so
But
if you
yeah, I
like,
like, I love my dogs, and I love, I like flower gardening also. Of course, seeing Layla play soccer, that has brought her so much joy, which has brought me joy. She actually scored the winning point for her team, the other day, so that was pretty exciting.
oh, that is exciting. That's very exciting.
Oh
That's
yeah,
something you don't forget. So yeah, for sure.
right.
And I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but yeah, it's like I said, they seem like they're pretty basic questions, but they're very, very deep, actually. So
They can be, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
I love it.
And then pillar two,
All the deep stuff.
yes, all the deep stuff.
Okay.
Curiosity and awareness. So I don't know if y'all are naturally curious people, but I am. I am very curious. I love asking all the questions and figuring things out and thinking I know things and figuring them out again. So this is where
Hmm.
we begin to explore more of the things that we did in pillar one. And we're going to get deeper and ask ourselves even more questions like, why do I feel that way? Why do I believe what that person told me years ago or last month, last week, or even 5 minutes ago? Because people love sharing their opinions, right? Why don't I see the good things about myself? Because a lot of times we just don't allow ourselves to even entertain the idea that there could be something good about ourselves, much less looking at it and really appreciating it. And then,
Yeah,
more importantly, why don't I believe the good things about myself?
yeah, those are digging even deeper.
Yeah, they're
Awesome.
digging in deep because there's the truth of the matter is there are good things about everyone, and I know there's going to be
Hmm.
people that hear me say that and they're going to be like bullshit, but it's true.
There
There,
are them. Yes.
yeah, even like I probably like some people aren't going to like me saying this, but that's okay. Even Hitler had good things about him. Like he was meticulous in the way he dressed. His uniform was always perfect, and it was, and obviously he had some kind of charisma that made people follow him. It was evil, and I get that. And I'm not saying the man wasn't evil. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there are good aspects about everyone, and we can take those and look at them and believe those things about ourselves so we can
Yeah.
say, you might not think you have any talent, but you're really good at cooking, but you don't even
Hmm.
think about that because it's just something you do every day to provide for your family and
Right.
all those things. So allowing yourself to see them and then believe them is super, super important. But you have to get curious, and
Yeah.
that's how you find these things out, is getting curious and then becoming aware of it through that curiosity.
Hmm.
And that's how you shift these things.
Yeah. It's a hard shift for a lot of people,
It
that
is.
not seeing the good in themselves, and even harder to believe the things, which is sad, but true for a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I know I went through that. And that's why I stayed
Hmm.
in bad relationships for so long, is because I didn't believe, truly believe, and I didn't even see some of the stuff about myself. I didn't
Yeah.
even see it at all. And then when I did start seeing it, I had a really, really tough time believing it. And it was a process for me. It happens. And this is the thing too, like this is something that happens differently for everyone. Some people will read
Hmm.
this stuff and they'll like get it, it'll click, and a week later they're like totally in love with themselves. And then there are other people
Hmm.
who this takes longer for, and there's no wrong way to do this. And that's what I want to emphasize. Just
Right.
because and it can fluctuate from day to day. Like today, you may have a really good day with accepting the good things and believing them. And then tomorrow you may have a hard time with it. That's the normal ebb and flow of life. And one of the things I like to point out is that if you took away every single extra thing in the world, like all of the problems, all of like any issue, any extraneous stuff, and you just woke up and
Mhm.
you were, some days you wake up and you feel like you can take on the world. It has nothing to do with what's going on in your life. You just feel really strong that day. And then there are days you wake up and you're like, oh no, I can't do today. And you want to pull the cover back up over your head. That's just natural ebb and flow without
Yeah.
putting all of the other things in. So if you find you're having a
Mhm.
harder day, just give yourself extra grace on that day. Don't beat yourself up,
Yeah,
talk to a friend, have a cup
it's
of tea,
okay.
take a nap. It's okay. And speaking of that,
Absolutely.
too, we use that term, we use the term it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
However, most of the time we are okay. We're just hurting, we're sad,
Mhm.
we're upset, we're frustrated, we're mad, we're, whatever. But most of the time, we actually are okay. So if we can do some breathing exercises and bring ourselves back to center and ask ourselves, am I really okay in this moment? Being okay doesn't mean that you're not hurting, you know? Like it,
Right.
it doesn't mean everything
Mhm.
is perfect. That's not what okay looks like. Sometimes we think that, and I feel like we've really, really made that a way of viewing things in this life. And I just would like to point out that we most often are okay. There are times when we're not, and then we need to seek out that extra help, that professional to help us work through that. And that's a different case. But most of the time we are okay, even though we're feeling upset. We can do some exercises
Right.
that will bring us back to center and let us realize that, I might be upset, I might be sad, I might be bawling my eyes out, and I might feel like total shit right now, but I actually am okay. So that's
Yeah.
a thing to remember. So do you have any questions or comments on this section, Jess?
Um, no, not yet. Just agreeing, and like I said earlier, it's sometimes it is more difficult for sometimes for people to see those good things, and even harder to believe them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And one thing
And
I want to say,
there's no like there's no like time frame or deadline to start seeing those things or believe those things either. Like you said, it's not like you just wake up and everything's rainbows and butterflies and unicorns.
yeah, yeah, it would be nice if it could switch on and off that quickly. And and also when I think I get into this later, let's move on and let me see. Let's move on to pillar three.
Okay.
If not, I'll do my best to remember to come back to that. So pillar three, changing your beliefs. So we began to get to know what our beliefs are in pillar two. Now we're going to explore ways to shift those old beliefs to new, more positive beliefs. So one of the ways we can do that is by learning to reframe thoughts and comments. And, sometimes these thoughts and comments come from other people that they are happy to share with us. And sometimes we say them
Yeah.
to ourselves. We talk about the inner voice, the inner critic, monkey mind. There's so many different ways to describe the thoughts that roll around and the little voices that want to keep us stuck in our heads. But we can learn to reframe those thoughts and comments. You can begin to give yourself compliments. And
Mhm.
some, let me just tell you, when you first begin doing this, this is so weird and uncomfortable because you're like, oh, that, it just seems so hokey and weird. And you don't even, maybe you don't even know what to say to yourself. How do I even give myself a compliment? Listen, I'll tell you in a nanosecond, I'm awesome. You don't have to agree with me, and that's cool, but I'm awesome. There are some really cool things that I'm very good at. And I would like to also say this, and I'll mention this again later because it comes up again actually, but that is not narcissism. Loving
Mhm.
yourself is not narcissism. When you give yourself compliments and you own up to the things that you are good at, that is not bragging. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you're walking around going, I'm good at this, not only am I good at it, I'm the best at it. No one ever is going to be as good at me at this. That is bragging. And that has a totally
Yeah.
different flavor. But going, hey, so I'm a twisted wire tree artist, Jess, right? And you
Yep.
actually have some of
An
my
amazing
trees
one.
that I've made. And I know that I'm really good at it. So I will say I'm
Yes.
really good at making wire trees. But never one time has anyone ever heard me say, I'm the best at making wire
Right.
trees. And you will never hear me say that because that's a matter of perspective for one thing. One person may think I am, and another person may think I'm not. So that's a matter of perspective. So I'm not going to say that
Right.
because I'm good at it. That doesn't mean that I'm the only one that's good at it, right? There are a lot of other people who make twisted wire trees that are good at it also. They
Mhm.
just do different styles than what I do. And that's cool.
Yeah.
So we get to give ourselves compliments and we get to believe them, which is really the most amazing part. And
I love that.
yeah, yeah, so good. When I first started my self-love journey, I listened to a lady named Marissa Peer, and she is a rapid transformational therapist. And she actually has a book out called I Am Enough. And when I listened to her, this is actually what she suggested. Write I am enough on sticky notes and put them up everywhere as a visual reminder. Or like you can use lipstick or eyeliner or a Sharpie or whatever. Write it on your mirrors. I am enough, because this is the basis of the lack of self love, is that we do not feel
Mm.
like we are enough. But guess what?
Yeah.
You are enough. I am enough,
Hmm.
just like we are right now in this moment. Now, if you're catching this on the replay and you're sitting there and your hair's all bedhead and you're still in your ratty night shirt and your sweatpants, guess what? You are enough right now, just as you sit with your ratty hair and your baggy clothes and your bleary eyes. You are enough right now. You are beautiful and you are enough right now.
I'm
So
laughing because that's me.
Jessica does have some mad bedheads sometimes.
And that's
That's the
okay.
that's the beauty of having curly hair though. I don't
That's
have the
all right.
curly hair.
That's
My bedhead looks distinctly different than your bedhead, but it's okay. And guess what? You're still
that is.
beautiful with your crazy hair. You're still beautiful and
That's
you're
right.
still
Thank
enough.
you.
Yes, you're very,
That's right.
and she still makes good coffee. So, do you have any comments or questions about this section?
Um, I not any questions at this point, but I love that I am enough because I mean, like you said, that is kind of like the base of it all.
Mhm.
I mean, if it's for me at least, when I really think about it, that's kind of where that begins
Yeah.
as far as complimenting yourself and starting to believe it. And um, I think not people feeling like they're not enough is kind of where that begins because then on that, it just kind of you can stack on top of that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
I am
Absolutely.
enough. And then with the other start, I guess stack with other compliments. That just makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Marissa Peer. We appreciate that tip.
Yes.
Pillar
And
four.
that's just it kind of just hit me when you said that, but
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important for us to remember. I mean, like if you take away anything from this, take away that you are enough. Absolutely.
yeah, I love
So
it.
managing emotions. Emotions can be a tricky part of any day, as we all know, but it can be especially deep when it comes to the self love journey. The reason for this is because we get down to the nitty-gritty of things, and when we do that, it unearths things that we may have forgotten about or never even realized at all. What's important here is to allow yourself to feel your emotions. I cannot stress this part enough, because so many of us don't want to embrace the feelings that we're having, because we naturally, instinctively don't want to feel sad. We don't want to feel angry. Most of us. I have encountered people that are pretty good at that and seem quite happy being angry, but most of us don't want to feel those feelings. We don't want to feel rejected. We don't want to feel any of these things that
Right.
we term as yucky emotions. So we don't want to sit with them and allow ourselves to feel them. So what do? We try to push them down and make them go away, and tell each other, you're fine, and you are. You're just feeling things, and you need to allow yourself to feel those emotions and know that even though you're having those emotions and they feel shitty in the moment, that you're still okay. And I always like to say that no matter how bad a storm is, there's always sunshine above those clouds. Always,
Yeah.
always, always there's sunshine above those clouds. So, and the storms don't last forever. None of them. None of them, even
Right.
the ones that are the longest, most intense storms, they don't last forever. So allow your and when you're in those really, really super intense times, like I said before, if you really need the extra help, please reach out to someone and get that extra professional help. But it all starts with allowing yourself to feel those emotions and asking for help when you need it. Like I was a person that I didn't want to ask for help, Jess. You know this. Like I didn't want to talk about my shit.
Yeah.
Like I was going to do this by
Yep.
myself, come hell or high water. And let me just tell you, when I started reaching out and asking for help, that is a game changer. When you start allowing, now it's, yeah, we could get into that a little deeper. I'm not going to do that right now, but yeah, allow yourself to feel your emotions. And if you need the extra help, please reach out and get that extra help. That is why it's
Yeah.
there. And
Hmm.
give yourself grace when it comes to your emotions. We should be giving ourselves tons of grace anyway, but especially around our emotions, because they are pretty intense sometimes. So if
Yeah, for
you
sure.
add on a a self-verbal beating on top of all the other emotions you're feeling, telling yourself you're stupid for feeling this way and you shouldn't feel that way, and give yourself 100 reasons why you shouldn't feel that. It doesn't matter. Like Wayne Dyer used to say, you're shitting all over yourself. you know
Mm.
Nobody gets
Yeah.
to tell you what you should do, even you. Even you, and that sounds kind of crazy, but allow yourself grace. Allow yourself grace. We all have these feelings. And guess what? You are allowed to feel them, no matter what anyone says. If someone tells you you shouldn't feel a certain way, well, I mean, that's their opinion. And please don't take that on, because you get to feel your emotions. You get to be sad if you're sad. You get to be happy if you're happy. And no one gets to tell you that you're not allowed to do that. And this one,
Nice.
this next one here is a tough one, right? Do your best not to judge yourself.
Very tough.
Yeah.
Very tough. We are all so critical of ourselves, way more than we would ever be on anyone else normally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to interject here that if you would not say it to your best friend, then don't say it to yourself.
Mhm.
You know?
I love that. Yes.
Yeah. Be your own best friend. And, and we are going to catch ourselves judging ourselves. It's a natural part of being human. However,
Yep.
that's where the awareness piece comes in that we talked about previously. When you're aware of the fact that you're doing it, then you can shift and change it and give yourself
Yeah.
grace. I mean, we actually just had a little bit of that kind of conversation before we started recording this video, didn't we, Jess?
Yep. Sure did.
So we all do it, no matter how long we've been on this journey and practicing these things. We still have moments where we catch ourselves doing it. And then here's the thing though, here's the fun thing is that it starts happening faster, right? You realize it quicker and you change it quicker. You redirect those thoughts, you reframe and you reconstruct the way you're looking at things. It happens faster.
Yeah.
So hang in there. If you're just getting started on this, keep practicing, don't give up. It's it's going to come easier every single time you do it. It comes a little easier. It feels a little more natural. It feels a little more comfortable.
Mhm. Yep.
Pillar 5, one
Excuse
of my favorites. Self-care. This is a really important piece of self-love because this gives us the space to manage our emotions. Um, one thing, sorry, I'm moving my little thing around there. So it gives us space to manage our emotions. It allows us to realize that we get to take up space in this world too. And I've actually reminded a couple people that I've encountered here recently of this. We get to take up space. There is not one person on this whole fucking planet that is more important
me.
than you, and you are not more important than them. We all get to take up space in this world. And that's what self-care teaches us, is that we get to take up space. It gives us time to
Yeah.
recharge our batteries, fill our cups, so we can show up as the best versions of ourselves for not only us, but also the people we love and others we interact with day to day. And this can
Yeah.
be family. This can be like you needed to take a nap just because things were stressing you out. And you knew that if you didn't take that nap, you were going to be snapping at your daughter because everything she does, even though she does it with the most love, is going to get on your nerves. And you're going to be, and you're going to snap at her, or you're going to be short with her or whatever. So giving yourselves the time and the space to refill your cups and charge your batteries is really, really important. It is not
Yes.
selfish.
Right.
We have been
Thank
taught
you.
that self-care is selfish. It is not selfish. And self-care
Yeah.
looks different for everyone. This is where you get to go back to pillar 1, where you're finding out, what do you like to do? Because maybe that's one of the
Yes.
things you want to incorporate into your self-care routine. But it can include common things that are recommended by coaches a lot, like journaling and meditating, which are fantastic ways to have outlets. And one thing I've
Mhm.
recently learned myself is that when you don't feel like meditating, if you have developed a meditation practice, the days that you don't feel like meditating are the days you need it the most. So that was pointed out to me recently. So just remember that if you're feeling really stressed out and you're like, oh, there's no way I can meditate, go meditate. 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Give yourself that time. But we could also take a walk,
Yes.
have a salt soak, get a massage. This, like I said, this looks different for everyone, but I also like to remind people that retail therapy and self-care are not the same. They are not the same. You know, it's I mean, like it's just not the same. So I hope that y'all will really look into this self-care thing and see if you can find something that's, and it doesn't have to be long. I think that's one of the things that we
Right.
think too, is sometimes that it has to be a long time. Like we have to take half a day for some self-care. And if you can do that, that's freaking fantastic. I actually did that not too long ago, where I took a day and went to the beach with my friend, and we collected driftwood and, stones and
Mhm.
whatever we found out there, and just enjoyed the sunshine and everything. And we were gone for the day. And that was amazing. I don't get to do that very often, but that was incredible. But
Yeah.
it doesn't have to look like that. It can be 5 minutes. And y'all listen, I'm going to tell you a little secret. And this is a no fail way to get yourself a few minutes by yourself, because you can do it anywhere, anytime, anybody. If you are in a super stressful situation and you really know you need to get out of it, and you need 2 minutes, even just 2 minutes by yourself to just breathe. Say you have to go to the bathroom.
There you
Nobody's going to
go.
argue with you. Nobody's going to tackle you and be like,
Nope.
no, you can't go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, shut the door, shut out the noise, and just breathe. Just give
Yes.
yourself that couple minutes. It doesn't have to look like anything fancy, so
Right.
that's a surefire way. And one thing I always like to say too is before you go to the bathroom, don't say, hold that thought. Don't say that. Just go.
Yeah.
And then take your few minutes.
Yep.
And then when you come back, if you have to come back into that situation, then just don't revisit that conversation. Just change it to something different. So
Yeah.
that's if you need a few minutes, that's a surefire way for you to be able to get it. So
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, especially like at work or, you know, when you're busy and you do need those few minutes. That's a great suggestion. I love that.
yeah, and especially if the situation is getting really intense, if the situation is getting really
Hmm.
intense, just say, man, I got to go to the bathroom, and if you
Yeah.
don't, I mean, you don't have to really go, like, you don't have to physically like need to use the facilities. You can just
Right. Yeah.
go to the bathroom. They don't have to need to know what you're doing in there. I mean, for God's sake, they're probably
Nope.
not going to ask because they don't want to know.
Right.
So that's my little tip right there for that. You have
That's a
anything
great
for this one,
suggestion.
Jess? Thank you.
Um, I'm just kind of reading. I don't know. I mean, I think I was just reading what's up on the screen. You covered it wonderfully. And like I said, I love that suggestion. And I have had to do that at work when things get really crazy and I felt like I was in the weeds,
Yeah,
just start, feeling a little overwhelmed. It's like, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute.
right.
Just run over there, take a few minutes, take some deep breaths, collect myself, clear my head a little bit, and then go back to it. And it really does make a difference. It really, really does. But I didn't think of that as self-care. So I'm so glad you're doing this class. This is just absolutely awesome.
Gonna
Very
jump.
thought-provoking and great suggestions. This is love it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Pillar
Mhm.
6. This is one of my favorites. Stop explaining yourself. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it. This is a tough one though for a lot of people because it's become ingrained in us that we
Mhm.
need to do it. We do not need to do it. And here are some reasons
Yep.
why. And I'll tell you, I learned this one after my divorce too. Like I really did because people want to, anyway. I even had someone
Yes.
say to me one
Mhm.
time, "This is your chance to explain yourself." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Okay, so these are some of the reasons why you do not need to explain yourself. Number one on the list, number one, underline, 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 exclamation points. Lots of them. People are going to believe what they want to believe no matter what you say. No
Yep.
matter what you say, listen when I tell you that you're going to sit there and have a conversation with them, explain yourself to them. They're going to say, uh-huh, and nod in all the right places. And then after you end the conversation, they're going to turn around and walk away from you believing whatever they want to believe. So
Yep.
you have spent all this time and all this energy explaining, and they don't care. They don't care that you just explained it. They're
Yeah.
going to believe what they want to believe anyway. This is the number one reason why you don't have to explain yourself.
Mhm.
And it takes the pressure off of you. It takes the pressure off of you
Yeah.
because you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to make up reasons, think of reasons, try to justify anything. There's zero pressure because you're just not explaining it.
Yeah.
And you have absolutely zero, my friends, zero control over what others think, do, or say. The only person you have control over is your beautiful self. That is it. That is it. You do not have control over what they do. So the beautiful explanation that you give and all of that justification, You don't have any control over what they do with that after they turn around and walk away from you. None.
Yeah.
So you can use the time you used to spend explaining on something more beneficial, like time with family or self-care. So how much fun is that? So not explaining also frees up all this time that you can use for more amazing things. Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
make some cookies or have a salt soak or go for a walk or sniff a flower or whatever. You don't have to spend that time explaining yourself anymore. What freedom comes with that, right? What freedom comes with that? I will tell you though, when you first start not explaining yourself, people don't like it. They don't like it.
Right.
And they're going to try to make you feel like crap about it. But guess what? You still don't have to explain. You still don't have to do it.
Yep.
Don't you have to pee? I mean, don't you need to go to the bathroom? Wink, wink. so, so enjoy the time that you just freed up doing something more positive. So that's, I mean, like, yeah, because I went through this personally, and it is such a fun time when you just decide you're not going to explain things anymore. It really is. It's just, it relieves so much stress. It really does.
Yeah. It's a hard one to, kind of a hard one to, I guess, stopping explaining yourself because, like you said, it is so ingrained in us. And a lot of people, maybe we don't want to make someone mad. So we're explaining, but you don't have to. And like you said, they're going to believe what they want anyway. And you have no control over that. So they'll get over it.
And if they don't, that's not your problem. you know that's how
Right.
that works. It's
Th-
not your problem. And we'll talk about this later too,
those
but
who
on the
mind don't matter. And those, oh, go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
those who matter don't mind. Yeah, that's such a good one.
Yep.
That's,
It is.
yeah, no is a complete sentence. That's what I was going to say, just throwing that in here. This will come up probably again
Yes.
later, but no is a complete sentence. And
Yeah.
or
That's definitely one I have to work on.
yeah, and one of my favorites to say is I have plans. I have plans. They don't have to know what your
Yeah.
plans are. They don't have to know.
Yeah.
So could be sitting
And
on
if
the
you
couch
plan
in
on
your
just chilling out,
pajamas. Yeah,
yeah.
I've done that. I've done that. I have plans this evening. Okay, we'll get together another day. Yep. Because my plans are
Mhm.
to sit on my ass on the couch in my PJs and watch a movie.
And
Self-care.
that's
That's what I need.
okay.
And that's okay. Absolutely. We all get to
Absolutely.
do that. So it's fun. Pillar 7. This is also another one of my favorites. Practice gratitude. This seems super simple, and many people do not realize what a needle mover gratitude truly, truly is. The impact of a gratitude practice can have on your life is huge. It's huge, y'all. Some of the reasons are because gratitude gives you a sense of peace. Being grateful for what we have works like a magnet to draw even more things for us to be grateful for into our lives.
Yeah.
Being grateful for what we have, huh? What'd you say, Jess?
Nothing. My dog is trying to climb all over me. And I said,
Oh,
dog, if you don't get off me.
I'll give her some love
Sorry.
for me. That's okay. Being grateful for what we have does not mean we can't want more. And this is, a big thing for some people. They think if they have dreams, that having dreams of having more things, a better job, a bigger house, a nicer car, whatever, means that they're not grateful for what they have. And that is the biggest load of crap, y'all. Being grateful for what you have doesn't mean you can't desire more things. It doesn't mean you can't build that big dream. Okay. So please do not get caught up into the big lie of gratitude meaning that you can't want more, because that is not true at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. So
I have recently been doing this more, saying thank you to spirit a lot more and voicing gratitude. And it slowly becomes habit.
yeah,
So that's a great thing. Yeah.
it does. And I always like to remind people, if
Mhm.
if you're having a hard day and you feel like there's, what do I have to be grateful for? There's literally nothing for me to be grateful for. I would like to remind you to think of the things that we take for granted every day. You can breathe in and out on
Mhm.
your own. You can see, most of us. You can hear, most of us. You can taste your food. You can feed yourself. You can get out of bed
Mhm.
on your own. You can use the
Yes.
facilities on your own. You have a roof over your head, most of us do, and things
Yes.
things like that. I mean, like clothes on your back, I mean, the things, you have a toothbrush, you can brush your teeth, you have teeth, for crying out loud, you have
Yes.
teeth. You know what I mean? So I mean, there are always
That's
things for
awesome.
us to be grateful for, the oxygen in the air, the earth under our feet, the trees. There's always, always, always something to be grateful for. So if you're searching and life is seeming
Yes.
very hard for you right now, start there. Start there. Don't
Mhm.
trick yourself into thinking that that's too inconsequential to be grateful for, because it's not. Those things are huge. Think of what it would be
Yes,
like
they
if you
are.
didn't have them, you know?
Absolutely.
Think of what it would be like if you didn't
Yep.
have them. Start there. Start small. It doesn't have to be elaborate. A gratitude practice does not have to be elaborate. Actually,
Nope.
when I started journaling, the only journaling that I could get myself to stick to was gratitude journaling. I even set a timer. I thought 5 minutes. I sat down and timed myself for 5 minutes. And then I realized that in 5 minutes, I did about a half a page. So then I quit even timing myself. I would just write a half a page. And, it was what I said I was grateful for, varied from day to day, but
Mhm.
it was the only thing that I could stick with, and I stuck with that for months and months and months and months. I think it was a little over a year before I started breaking out into a different type of journaling from my gratitude journaling, but it was the only thing I could stick with at first. So it's a very, very powerful thing, gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And
and
I think that practice, even if it seems, oh, I guess inconsequential, like you said at first, Steve, I think it does kind of open your eyes as to how much we really are blessed.
yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
really does. And, since we're
Mm.
talking about self-love, this is part of the self-love journey. Think about things you can specifically be besides your eyes and your hair and whatever else, try to do your best. I don't want to use the word try anymore, but do your best to think of one thing about yourself that is outside of those things that you can be grateful, you know,
Mhm.
and give yourself that. I'm so grateful I'm a good cook. I'm so grateful I'm a wonderful
Yeah.
mom. When you start really thinking about it, there's a lot of things that you could add to that list really quickly. And then
Yeah.
you'll find your list will just
That's
grow
great.
because you get more stuff to be grateful for. It's amazing.
It is. That's great. I love that one too. Mhm.
Pillar 8, be authentic. We hear this quite a lot, but what does it really mean and how do we do it? The first thing is to stop asking for permission to be ourselves. And who are we asking for permission from? We're asking for permission from other people. We're seeking that validation, that approval from other people. Guess what? We are perfectly fine if we don't have it. We're
Mhm.
perfectly fine if we don't have it. We still get to be our amazing selves if we don't have other people's permission or their approval or their likes on Facebook and all of that crap. We get to be ourselves. So the first thing to consider is to stop asking for permission to be who you are, because like I said previously, you get to take up space in this world. You get to do that. We all do. Stop comparing
Yes.
yourself to other people. That only leads to bad places. And I'm telling you right now, social media, I feel like someone needs to hear this. Social media is a big platform. There are lots of social media platforms actually, and people post these things all the time. There are a shit ton of filters out there that people use, and people will take this little bitty snapshot of their life and put on social media, and you think that's what their life looks like. And I've actually posted videos on my own page of people setting stuff up to look like something, and it's not even that thing. It's fake as hell. So, especially
Yeah.
if you're looking at social media and comparing your life to someone else's life, your body to someone else's body, 99% of the time, that is not even real. It's not even accurate.
Yeah.
They're photoshopping things and they're airbrushing it and they're filtering it and all of this crap. And it's
Yep.
just a little bit, you know? So stop comparing yourself to other people. Give
And
yourself.
everyone's journey is different as well.
Yeah, it is. Everyone's journey is
Mm.
different. And I think we forget that sometimes and we want it to look like that. But you know what? Even if you had that, maybe you wouldn't be happy with that because it's not how your life is supposed to. You know, maybe
Right.
it's there's something different in the nuances of that person's life that wouldn't fit with you because we're all different souls, you know?
Yep.
We absolutely are. So you have to
Absolutely. Yes.
give yourself permission to be who you are. And this is real, it gets
Mhm.
really fun, actually. It does, it gets really fun. Like it reminds me of Steve and I actually had this conversation today where we were joking around and he said something to me and we play all the time and he said something about me being crazy or something and I was like started laughing. I'm like, yeah, I know. So I mean like
And it's so fun.
it is. I mean, step into your authentic self. Be weird. If you're fucking weird, be weird. It's okay. I literally made myself a crown that says weird on it because I used to get told I was weird all the time and it hurt my feelings. It used to really hurt my feelings that people called me weird because it sounded like
Mm.
condescending. And then I started, owning my weirdness and I would say, I wear my weird crown proudly. I wear my weird crown proudly. Well, then I'm like, well, why the hell don't I have a crown? Because I do wire work.
There you go.
So I made myself a crown. I'll have to post a picture of it and I will post a picture of it at some point in the group so y'all can see my weird crown.
Well, post a picture of yourself wearing it. That's what
Yes,
we
that's
want
what
to
I mean.
see.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of myself wearing it.
There we go.
Yes, yes. Realize that some people will like you and some people won't. And then you get to be okay with that.
Yep,
So, one of the
that's
things I like to say
great.
right here is that you can be the most amazing person on this planet. You can be the sweetest, kindest, most selfless person. And there are going to be people who don't like you.
Yep.
And I always use Mother Teresa as an example. Like what did she do that was not good, right? She went around the world helping people and she didn't want anything for herself. She was very selfless. And there are people who had nothing but bad things to say about her. And she was a wonderful person,
Mm.
you know? So realize
Yeah.
that some people will not like you. Some people will, but the important thing right here is, do you like yourself? Do you love yourself? Are you comfortable
Yes.
with you? Because if you are, then it doesn't matter if they like you. One of the things Wayne Dyer said was, I like it when people like me. I like it when people admire me, but I don't need it. And to me, that is the biggest distinction. We can like it. It feels good.
Yes.
We all like to have that approval. We all like to be liked and to be well thought
Mhm.
of. But do we need it to be who we are? Do we
No.
need it to love ourselves? That's the key. Or can we love ourselves in spite of it?
Mhm. Nice. Yeah, nicely put.
Pillar 9, find a self-love mentor. This is imperative, especially when you're at the beginning of your journey. Finding a role model who loves herself or himself, because guys have this issue too, in an authentic and unshakable way is going to give you inspiration in ways you don't realize until you experience it. Please do not pick a person who has an inflated sense of self-worth and is not authentic in their love for themselves. Pick somebody who is really, really in love with herself or himself. You know, some of the people that come to mind for me are Wayne Dyer, Marissa Peer, um, Lisa Nichols. You want to listen to a powerful speaker. That woman speaks. Let me just say, she is a powerful speaker and she is so authentic and she wants to teach everyone else how to be that way also. So look for someone who loves him or herself in that beautiful, authentic way. Okay. You do not have to know him or her. I never personally met Wayne Dyer. I do not know Lisa Nichols nor Marissa Peer, but those are some of the people that I listen to, and I still listen to this day when I feel like I want a
Mhm.
little inspiration or I just miss hearing them. I'll listen to them just because I miss hearing them because I haven't heard them in a while. So
Mhm.
it and it can be someone that you know physically in this life. And if it is, that's really cool because then you have the opportunity to call them up and talk to him on the phone and say, hey, I'm having a hard day. You know, what can you help me with today?
Yep.
Find someone in your physical life or find someone online through podcast speakers, et cetera. I just gave you a few examples, but there are tons of other people out there that are amazing. So find someone that resonates with
Yeah.
you and you know the thing that I love about finding someone, even if you have someone in this physical world, but find someone that you like to listen to on podcasts or something like that, because those people are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because they're online. You can access that message that
Yes.
you need to hear anytime you need to hear it, on your way to work in the morning when everyone else is sleeping or whatever. So I still encourage you to find someone you enjoy listening to. There, like I said, there are tons of people to listen to. And if you would like some more suggestions, I do have other people that I like to listen to also. Reach out to me. I'm happy to
Yeah.
share all the info with you. So um, make sure this is someone who embodies the type of love you want to have for yourself. And additionally, like I said, is someone with whom you feel a deep connection. Because if you're listening to someone just because you think they're cool, then that is not going to have the same impact on you that listening to someone who you feel a deep connection with, like Wayne Dyer. You know, for me, he was
Mhm.
for me. You know, he's not for everybody, and I get that, but that man saved my life literally. So I'm so grateful for him. I never met him, but through his work on YouTube being posted on there, that's he was amazing. Or yeah, is amazing still actually, because he's just transitioned. He's still hanging out. Realize the person that you choose may change as your journey continues, or you may add a person in addition to the other one. And the reason this happens is because at certain times in our life, we need something different. Our energy has changed. We need to hear it in a different way. So give yourself some grace and some room to for things to move a little bit. I live my life with lots of room for movement. So realize this person may change and give yourself permission to do that. And don't feel like you're betraying the other person. You know, you'll go back to them. If it's somebody you're really drawn to, I promise you, you will go back to them at some point.
Yeah.
Pillar 10. This one's a good one. I mean, they're all good, but acknowledge your accomplishments. Well, they are.
They are.
Acknowledge your accomplishments. This is something we often forget to do, if we ever even thought of it in the first place. However, it is extremely important to give ourselves recognition for the things we achieve. This should be one of one of two reasons to look back into our past to see how far we have come, right? Only one of two reasons. One reason is to see how far we have come. The other one is to review so that we can use those things to help propel us forward and making different decisions now, right? We don't want to live in the past. Reviewing the past and reliving the past are not the same. So celebrate.
Excuse me.
Treat
Yeah.
yourselves when you accomplish something. Give yourself permission to acknowledge that you did something well. Again, this is not bragging. You get to be good at something. You get to be good at something and say that you're good at it. There's nothing wrong with that. But, like sometimes we don't always get as much done as we think we should. There's that word again. And we
Yeah.
still can look back and see the things that we've done. Okay. So I'm going to use myself as an example here in that I was working on my website yesterday, and anybody who knows me at all knows that I'm not a super techie person. I'm not an idiot when it comes to that, but it's not my strong suit. So I have to do a lot. It takes me a lot longer to do things like that because I have to read the directions and do step by step. And so I was working on my website and I finally got it up and running yesterday. And I'm really, really proud of myself for that. And I caught myself thinking, well, I didn't get this done and I didn't get that done. But then I stopped and I was like, you know what? I just spent hours doing that, hours, and I'm really proud of myself. I'm very proud of myself for getting as much done as I did, and I did it all by myself. I got my booking things up there for my readings and my consultation calls, and I linked my Zoom to it so that I mean I did that and I did it all by myself. I was like, look at me.
You go, girl.
I did it all by myself. I'm so proud of me, but
Heck
I could have
yeah.
I could have easily fallen back into those old habits of beating myself up and thinking it wasn't good enough. I didn't get it all finished, blah, 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 because I still have to add some items to my store and things like that. But I just decided to celebrate myself for the things that I did and be really proud of myself because that's not my strong area. So giving myself credit for spending hours and getting it done,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I did it. I'm amazing. I'm
That's right,
amazing.
as you should.
Yeah. So don't forget, and it doesn't have to be a big thing, I mean, we can look back on the day and be like, hey, I made the bed this morning. I didn't get anything else done today, but I made the bed. Then be proud of yourself for making the freaking bed. You know,
Mhm.
you get to acknowledge your accomplishments, even if it seems like it's something that's really small. And also, it's going to be different day to day, right? Because there are going to be days like we
Mhm.
talked about that you get up and just getting out of bed that day and feeding yourself throughout the day is going to be your accomplishment for the day. So give yourself credit for that.
Yeah.
It's been a really tough day, but guess what? I got my ass out of bed and I fed myself twice today. Be proud of yourself for
Yeah.
that. We have to start small sometimes. And the thing about the starting small is it's a matter of perspective, right? It's a
Mhm.
matter of perspective because just getting out of bed on that day that you have that day when you feel like you can accomplish everything, getting out of bed seems like a small accomplishment on that day, right? But on the day when you feel like you can't handle life that day, but you got out of bed, that small accomplishment becomes a big accomplishment. So it's all about
Absolutely.
perspective. So give yourself grace and acknowledge what you're doing and what you've done.
Yeah. And we all have those days, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, we do. Okay, pillar 11, accept yourself. So in the previous pillars, we've built on some things and we've done some work. Now we're going to accept ourselves. This is a huge one. How do we do this? So one of my favorite things is begin by not telling yourself you can't. Can't is one of the most
Mhm.
damaging words we can use because it makes us feel hopeless. I also feel the same way about the words hard and the word broken,
Mm.
because we use those
Yeah.
words and then they just automatically, without us saying anything else, make us feel defeated. Like there's just not
Mm-hmm.
even any point in making an effort because we can't. It's hard. We're broken, So
Yeah.
if you're using those words, you're automatically, just by thinking them and letting them come out of your mouth, you're automatically making yourself feel defeated right away. So what do? We get curious. Curiosity really is the magic to growing and accepting any part of our lives, but it's especially true when it comes to accepting ourselves. And think about it. What would it look like if you accepted yourself? What would it look like if you loved yourself? What would it look like if you looked in the mirror and liked who you saw, loved who you saw? What would that look like? What would that feel like? How would that change your life? Give yourself
Yeah.
permission to like yourself, to love yourself. This is not narcissism. Again, this is not narcissism. Narcissism is something totally different than a genuine self-love. Self-love is a genuine, unconditional, pure love, and it's a beautiful thing. There's nothing bad about it at all. It's like soul love, and your soul is never going to steer you in the wrong direction. It's never going to encourage you to do things that are damaging to you or anyone else. This is what self-love is about.
Yeah. I love that too. Mm.
Pillar 12, take action. Now that you have learned to love yourself, you can begin taking action on some or all of the things that you have become curious about doing, even if you have never done them before. And even if other people don't agree. Even if other people don't agree. And I want to also add, it doesn't matter who they are. We have a tendency, we have these, what I refer to as power players in our lives. Those people are
Mhm.
mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, children, lovers, husbands, wives, whatever. Those are the power people
Mhm.
in our lives. And we tend to want to give them permission to affect us in ways that we would never allow a stranger to affect us. We want to take their opinions
Mm.
and form our life around them and what they think and what they feel we should be doing. We don't have to do
Yeah.
that. We get to live our own lives and we get to be happy no matter what other people think and no matter what is going on in other areas of our lives. Now, having said that, we may have some pieces of areas of our lives that we're not completely happy with and we would love for them to be different. That doesn't mean that we don't get to be happy overall in our life and live it the way we feel we should be living it, the way we want to live it, the way that makes us happy. However, I don't want you to overwhelm yourself with this piece. Give yourself permission and grace to begin slowly, because that confidence you heard me just have right there did not start out that way. It did not start out that way. So you have to give yourself permission and grace to begin this piece slowly. Pick one thing and follow through with the doing of it. Remember to celebrate your accomplishments, even if they don't work out as you thought they would. You still gave it a did it. Guess who has a typo? Still did it. You still did it. You did it. Even if it didn't work out the way you thought it would, right? We still
Mhm.
learn through the process of doing things that we never did before.
Yeah.
Remember that no one starts something new as the expert. Never, never. These people
Nope.
who are experts and they spout off this stuff think and like, it's what did you say, Jessica, earlier? Flowers and unicorns and roses and whatever you said.
Yeah, but yeah, rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns.
Yeah, rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns. They make it sound like that's all it is and that's all it's been since the beginning. Bullshit. They did not start out with the confidence that they have today. They did not. I know I didn't. You should hear some of my first videos that I did, and I'm sure I'll look back on this one 5 years from now and think, wow, I've really improved since then. No one starts something new as the expert. We all start out in that awkward period where we're unsure of ourselves. It's kind of like when you're that gangly teenager and you're not really sure what to do with these new body parts that you're getting, or expanded body parts that you're getting, and you're tall and you're lanky and you're clumsy and you're growing hair in places you never had it before, and you got all these hormones raging through you. It's kind of like that. You have to adapt to things, and you have to grow
Yeah.
through it, and you have to get through that weird awkward stage that feels so uncomfortable and foreign to you. But you keep
Mhm.
doing it, you keep practicing it, and then you will feel like the expert. You will be good at it. You will go, yeah, I'm fucking amazing. And if you don't like it, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't help your taste. Please, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you will get there. You give yourself grace. Take some time out. Take some time for self-care. When you're having a day that doesn't, you don't feel as strong, go back to the self-care piece. Give yourself some time.
Yeah. It's true.
That's pillar 12. You have any comments or questions on this one, Jess?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting here nodding in agreement with everything. I love this, Steve. I really do. Like, I needed this so much.
Oh,
I'm
good.
just yes.
Good. Well,
I
remember
just
we
want it.
talked about
Yeah.
journaling. We talked about journaling. So what I
Yes.
did is I created some journaling prompts also. So we're going to go over here
Mhm.
and check out some journaling prompts.
Perfect.
And for anyone who's listening to this, and for you too, Jess, I can send you these in a PDF. I already have your email address, but if
Okay.
anybody else would like them, if you're listening on the replay and you would like to have these journaling prompts, or even the 12 pillars of self-love, I already have it in PDF. If you're interested in having that, just shoot me a DM with your email address and I'll be happy to send them to you so you can have them on hand. So some of the journaling prompts are, what do I feel about myself? Are these things actually true? Example, you've been told you are lazy. Is this actually true, or is this the opinion of the person who said it? Why do I feel that way about
Mm.
myself? Is it because of something that was said to you? If not, where did that belief come from? And you have to dig a little
Yeah.
deep on this, because a lot of us don't think about these things until someone puts it in front of us and says, hey, give this a thought,
Mm-hmm.
What would it be like if I felt differently about myself? Think about how you would move through your life if you felt differently about yourself, how you would present yourself to other people at home, at work, with your friends, at
Mm-hmm.
parties. If you go to parties or get-togethers, it doesn't have to be like a party. It could be like a cookout or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What would my life be like if I made self-care a priority? What would that look like? You really gave yourself some time. What would my life be like if I stopped explaining myself to others? What would that be like? Holy crap. Think about that. I love it. Like, I love this piece. Like, my life is so much better since
Yeah.
I quit doing that shit. What would my life be like if I implemented and maintained healthy boundaries? Healthy boundaries are
Mm.
huge, and we didn't really talk about those too much, but we can have another conversation about that another day. Remember, though, that healthy boundaries are for you, not for others. So if they don't
Mhm.
like it, and I would like to say also that when you implement stuff like this, you don't have to be, some people think like brutally honest, be kind. Always be kind when you're bringing these things forward, because that's going to make it, even if it's not well received, it's just going to have a different impact than it would if you were like, don't effing call me past blah, blah, whatever. You could just be like, hey man, I'm starting a new routine in my life. So if you could just not call me after 8 o'clock in the evening unless it's an emergency, I'd really appreciate it. And then if they do, don't answer the phone. Just don't answer
Mhm.
the phone. You get to do that. You get to set that boundary. What would happen if I allowed myself to be more grateful? Wonder how many more things would come into your life for you to be grateful. Why don't I feel I have things to be grateful for at all? Hmm. This is one things we did talk about. Remember, we often overlook things like running water, being able to walk, talk, breathe on our own. If you can't think of anything else, allow yourself to remember these things that hold great value. What would my life be like if I allowed myself to be my true self, unapologetically and authentically? What would that be like? Holy crap. Well, I can tell you from my own personal experience, it's freaking delicious. So I really, really invite you to give it a try or give it a go because it is delicious. What would it be like to truly accept myself and all my amazingness? And you are amazing. It doesn't matter how many people on this freaking planet agree with you or don't, you are amazing. What would it be like to take action on the things I've dreamed about in the past or I am currently dreaming about? What are you dreaming about? What are you dreaming about? And what's one small thing that you could do to push yourself a little closer to that dream? What is the first thing I will choose to take action on? And that's all I have for you today.
I loved it. Oh,
So
wow.
glad.
Thank you so much. Like I said, these are really thought-provoking and make you dig deep.
Yeah,
So yeah, I love that you put this out there and it's going to be available to people. Even if people couldn't join us today, I think this is great.
yeah.
I
You're
think a lot of people are going to benefit from it. So thank you. Thank you so much. I know
very
I
welcome.
will.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
And I love all the reminders too as we go through it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's always good to have those reminders and everything. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I will be doing this
Yeah.
again, because not just because only one person showed up today, but because I feel like it's so important and I want to give people the opportunity for a
Mhm.
more interactive experience. And maybe people just didn't know what to expect. And that's why, some people didn't show up today. I'm not sure, because it is a deep,
Yeah.
it is. So, putting it out there for people to be able to just watch it without the perceived pressure of having to
Yeah.
be involved in a conversation about it will be good and we'll do it again and that way hopefully people will show up and ask questions or ask questions in the comments or DM me or something. So but yeah, this is important stuff. We
It
get to
is.
get
It
to love
is.
ourselves.
I just, and it is. It's so important. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mm.
And again, if anyone out there is listening to this on the replay and you do want the PDF of all of this information that we just went through in this video, please drop me a DM and give me your email address and I will be happy to send it over to you. Okay, no strings attached. Not trying to sell you anything. Just want you to have the information so that you can step into your self-love and realize how truly amazing you are and how you really, really, truly, truly are enough just as you are right now in this moment. So
Yes.
thanks for joining me,
Thank you so
Jess. I
much.
appreciate you so much.
Oh, I appreciate you. Love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Bye.
Love you all. Everybody, I love you. I love you.